Greetings, fellow captains. I think it's safe to say that most of you have been on the Two Brothers map, which is why this location is the topic for today's episode of Map Tactics. The Two Brothers map is designed for Tier 7 to 10 battles in two modes, Standard Battle and Domination. In an earlier update, the map underwent a slight facelift and now offers even more interesting tactical solutions. But first things first. The map was named after its two big islands located in the middle. They split the map in half. The narrow strait between the brothers seems to be designed for players whose motto is 2 minutes in a battle, then back to port. On the flanks, there's open water with a few islands. In an earlier update, the strait became a bit wider, and both brothers had their height reduced. On the one hand, you can now easily rain shells directly on the enemy base. On the other, you can find yourself under fire at the very beginning of battle. There are also some new, interesting firing positions. At first sight, the map offers the player a pretty simple choice: right or left. Both flanks are virtually the same. There's a place for both slow battleships and swift destroyers. It makes sense to split the team into two halves of about equal strength, because practice shows that attempts to attack just one flank with the whole team rarely end in victory. The central islands make it impossible to fire from one flank to the other, so if there is a tactical mistake, you can't switch flanks quickly. Before choosing which flank to target, thoroughly study team setups, or wait until you've spotted how the enemy team is distributing its forces. This is why air reconnaissance plays an important role here. At the beginning of the battle, an aircraft carrier should send her squadrons to the middle of the map. That way, she can spot enemies, help allies decide where to go, or arrange a friendly rendezvous for those who like to rush through the central strait. Let's look at the strait. While useless at the beginning of battle, its value increases significantly over the course of the encounter. When forces are extended to the flanks and unable to return and defend the base, the strait becomes the shortest route to the enemy's rear. Just one ship can sail through it and determine the course of the entire battle. Another interesting part of the map is a chain of islands on the first line. Using them as cover, destroyers can launch plenty of torpedo salvos at the team that decides to advance through this flank. Cruisers should keep this line under control, and battleships shouldn't even touch it. Now a few words about battle modes. In Domination, the areas around the points of interest become the key theaters of operation, and destroyers are the actors. But while a good actor can win people's hearts by going solo, in World of Warships, even a superb player who is abandoned by their allies will soon find themselves being hit with more than just tomatoes. So, the primary mission for heavy forces is to cover the hero. But accurate main battery salvos may not be enough. In swift duels against destroyers, victory often depends on effective spotting. Unfortunately, aircraft carriers can get too focused on dealing damage and forget that timely spotting of enemy torpedoes or destroyers can turn the tide of battle and bring about victory when a defeat seemed inevitable. In standard battle, cohesive team play and focused fire are crucial to achieving victory. Otherwise, the pace of attack will dwindle and the outcome of battle will depend on the individual skill of separate team members. If you failed to break through the flank promptly or faced a much stronger enemy force, you should try to contain enemies and prevent them from reaching your base. There are instances when one battleship was able to hold off half of the enemy team, preventing them from capturing the base. And again, captains, keep an eye on the mini-map. Remember, you are a team. One for all for one. See you in battle.